You're about to soon find out that what was sent to break you, you have transmuted into a key that's going to let you open the door of where you were previously stuck, putting down a heavy burden. You've turned it into a key. You've turned it into a key. You are now ascending because you've unlocked this level of light up here. What was sent to burden you so heavy that you couldn't make it down this mountain. You were supposed to be stuck all the way up here with all of this. You traversed down this mountain with all this, and you put what you needed to down, but not until after you learned from it. And that is why you need to make this climb still, but this is unlocked up here. It's open. It's like one of those apartment buildings where you have to buzz yourself in and then the elevator takes you to the right floor. It's like that. Like you're buzzing in now so that you can ascend to that. This is all about transition into calmer waters. You're not in this energy anymore. See how these are kind of similar background colors, but this one's like a little more green, like go. This is where you were before, and this was your higher self, like, hey man, hey girl, come on, like let's not give up. This is hard, but you can do it. And now you're in a state of transition. What are you walking into that's different? Fast movement is falling into your lap. Maybe blocked communication, you're getting the answers to what there previously wasn't answers for. And it's because you learned to rely on yourself for emotional balance, and now you're actioning that emotional balance. It's not only that you've achieved it internally, but you're reflecting what you've achieved internally into your external environment. You're making the changes externally that align with the internal balance that you've achieved here. And it's all because of you. It's nobody else. It's all because of you. It's nobody else. You created the balance. You actioned the balance. You took your power back. And now you're getting justice because of it. Because before, there was this lack of rooting because there was so much that was blowing you side to side. And we have another 10 in reverse. All this sabotage, betrayal, you found a way to put it down. You found a way to take your power back from those who were abusing their access to you. And again, now you're getting ready to ascend. What was sent to break you? What was sent to stop you in your tracks, I don't know where the other card went, is now the key that frees you to go to the next level. Message from your spirit guides. What do you need to know? There's a need to look at something from a different pivoted direction when it comes to how hard you're being on yourself. It's keeping you stuck in your head. What are you being hard on yourself about? People not seeing you for who you truly are. You are questioning if something is getting like lost in translation, or if they're just willingly blind to the reality of who you are. My screen went black as I said that. These people are resisting a death and a rebirth. Look, they can see your light, but their world is reversed, so they can't reflect back the light that they see in you. This isn't a you problem. It's nothing being lost in translation. Queen of speech. It's nothing being lost in translation. It's simply people being unable to receive you because they're resisting certain changes in their own life. They're keeping their head down so they can't see the key is there. They're not seeing that you are triggering them unintentionally because you're sent to help them make the changes that they were resisting making so they can be grounded and stable and create something lasting for themselves. Because right now they're stuck, they're trapped. They're in a reality they don't necessarily enjoy. And they see you shifting into one that you do enjoy, and that really triggers them. It really triggers them. It makes them feel downcast. It makes them feel sad. And they know there's no way that they can get to you. You're out of reach energetically. And that is what's most triggering to them. I scream out black again. That's what's most triggering to them. Is that they can't emulate your energy. You have ascended beyond what they can comprehend. And they know that you turned around and tried to help them up the ladder. They didn't want to come. They didn't want to go. This is giving me the image of like that Mario Kart level where he's driving on the rainbow like this. They did not want to come to that level with you. They weren't ready for that experience. Their priorities are too earthbound for them to feel comfortable on a spiritual journey. So they resisted that new beginning. It's not you being lost in translation. They're fully understanding who you are. They just cannot mirror back to you your level of ascension. It's not a you problem. Doing a reading on the ex that had emotional stability problems. And there's something involved about like using their family as an excuse about it or running to their family. I want to rush in and sweep you off your feet and show you how I feel. Sometimes the urge is overwhelming. So this person wants to come back. This person wants to run back in, but they're not. They're not. They know that you've let go. You've gotten some kind of public wish fulfillment, or at least like you're able to be seen somehow publicly, social media or something, doing well. And like you've achieved this balance that you didn't have when this person was around. And that's what's making them want to run back. That's what's making them want to run back. Justice kind of came out on its side here. One of you are getting justice and one of you are getting karma. I mean, you're both getting karma. You're getting the good karma for letting go here. Oh, this person is somehow aware that you're heading for another connection. Maybe you're already in another connection, but this person is making you want, they're like imagining you having to juggle between, am I going to go back to the past or am I going to move forward? It's like they know this is coming in for you, this new union, and your ex, this ex person wants to run in now to see if they can get, if they could get you to choose them over a new, potentially fulfilling, I mean, this is fulfilling, a fulfilling relationship or a fulfilling connection. They want to spoil what they know you have is coming. How do they know? How do they know? They went a different route to figure out the flow of information on you. They didn't ask you, they got a reading on you. They got some kind of reading on you. Yep. And they figured out who is coming into your life. And they want to jump back in and try and sabotage that in any way that they can. They want to make you feel indifferent about the other person, about the transition you're making. Like, it's not that important. It's not that serious. It couldn't be anything. They want to confuse you and have you go into something with your walls up. My throat is closing. They want you to not be able to communicate your feelings and emotions because you're too caught up in the past versus the future. The past versus the future. But there's, see, I was about to say there's some new love coming, but then my throat closed. They don't want you to manifest that into your reality. They don't want you to want that. They want to trip you up and have you looking backwards instead of looking forward. They don't want you to release them, like their energy. They're not ready for you to find something good and remember that there's better than what they had to offer you that's available. But you're changing strategies here. You're like, I'm not getting betrayed again. I'm not getting sabotaged again. The bird's like laughing at this guy. Like you find this person like looking at, I want to rush back in. You find that comical, like, okay, we both know that's not going to go well. That's your energy towards it. And it should be. And it should be, because you learned what was hidden in the darkness about some kind of sabotage or betrayal, and you said, I'm not going to repeat this cycle. I'm not going to repeat this cycle. I'm hearing you could not pay me enough to repeat this cycle. You cannot pay me enough to repeat this cycle. If you, in the last 72 hours from whenever you're seeing this video, have been specifically thinking about something relating to past lives, it's like you're trying to figure out, could my past lives be directly related to something going on now, or some degree of that, then this is for you. There's a lesson that you completed from your past life that holds a specific key that unlocks a door you need to go through in this life, and it's starting to bubble to the surface. Your inner knowledge is seeping through. It's coming out. It's the past life consciousness has begun to download a specific stream of information into your present life self. And it's going to unlock a new beginning that right now feels locked. I'm hearing money wound. Hearing money wound very clearly. Ending a cycle in which you were trapped from getting away from wish fulfillment. A money wound. Look, there's literally a treasure chest. So your past self completed a lesson in the past life, and now it's downloading the information into your psyche in order to help you alleviate a money wound in this life so you can get a wish fulfillment that you've been working towards. Yeah, creating the balance, and look, that's your higher self. So higher self, because you have achieved some kind of balance, it's like, in order for the download to come in, it had to be kind of straight across. Something needed to be balanced out, and you've made that balancing happen. So now the information can be downloaded to you. Yeah, it feels like sleep, honestly. It feels like either you've improved your sleep quality, amount of sleep, either less or more, whatever needed to happen, or you're being very mindful about the content you're taking in before bed, or you were in some kind of dream battle that was like a couple episodes long and you've completed it. But it feels like sleep. It feels like that's literal in this case with the pillow there. And it's because you had a stable foundation. And look, there's the bag of money. So we're talking about a money wound here, and we go back to balance. So this is just a huge confirmation. Your perspective is higher when it comes to the battle you had to face because you are balanced, and now you're getting the bag, like quite literally getting the bag here. What is shifting for you? So some kind of emotional wound that's tied to the money wound when it comes to feeling capable or worthy or deserving, or like there's a spot for you, like you're not late, you're not behind. This is like a work commitment here. So where you weren't previously ready to all the way bet on yourself, you're preparing to place the biggest bet that you've ever bet, hypothetically, in your life on yourself. And that is what unlocks this money wound from you very quickly. Very quickly. Boom. You bet on yourself, and then boom, money wound unlocked. You were holding yourself back before by, it feels like in terms of vulnerability, You're judging your love too harshly. Because when you were vulnerable in the past, people took advantage of that. You were underestimating your ability to now use your discernment of when you can allow for that vulnerability and when to not allow for it. So you have completed the task of, increased discernment. Now you can see very clearly from a higher perspective the truth of situations and make decisions accordingly. So that door will be unlocking for you very soon. This is for you if in the last 48 hours you've had thoughts in line with like a rebel teen that wants to rebel within you and like, give me the match and I'll burn the whole thing down type energy. This is what your inner teen wants you to know or wants to say to you that's coming through for you. The party is over for... So the Emperor is like an authoritative type of card. So the party's over for whoever used to have power over you energetically or emotionally or in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be masculine energy, just whoever still held some semblance of power over you energetically, they no longer are going to. And it's almost like you're wanting to rebel because the energy of rebellion is clearing. Like the energy of needing to rebel against this specific energy is clearing. And as that clears out of your energy, it's creating this space that wants to be filled with rebellion. So you're sensing it because, it's like taking a different path in the same chapter. And there's a feeling of needing to fill that space with something else that's more productive than the rebellion, but your attention is being drawn to the fact that rebellion of needing to rebel against this specific energy is leaving now. What did you do? 10 of Pentacles in reverse. This could be family related. And whatever it was, it made you feel trapped and uninspired. And it had been going on so long that you just felt indifferent to it. It's like at first you wanted to rebel, and then it was a situation that was kind of beyond your control, and you're just like, all right, whatever, I'll just focus on the other areas of my life. You were trapped. But whatever it is or whoever it is has no power over you anymore. Or they won't very soon. The roots have been ripped out here, and they're quite worried about this. Why are they so worried about this? Because they couldn't keep you trapped in your head to make you look like the fool in the situation. I'm hearing you're too known to be wise now for you to be in the fool role and have it be believable. Like foolishness, literal fool. Yeah, and you're sharing that. You're expressing that. People are seeing that. It's like you've created this portal and now you're stepping into it. Away from someone who had you in some kind of impossible situation that you could not control the circumstances of, is what I'm hearing. But you broke free. You broke free. Social queen, public. You broke the doors open. And you stopped being silent about what you couldn't change and started changing your perspective of it. And that has changed everything because it energetically freed you from someone you should be able to trust that was untrustworthy, that was sabotaging or betraying you. Look who's laughing now, because it's not them. It's not them anymore. They're no longer able to keep their darkness in. A light has been shown on the darkness of someone abusing their power or authority over you. And everyone else can see it, but it hasn't all the way been addressed yet. But this person is trapped in this situation now. And they know that they've lost all power and control over you. And they want to run away. They want to get out of the situation. But they already committed to being who they are. It's like this person is already in a position that either they're going to get found out now and still be in that position, or they're going to run away and it's going to be very obvious. So it's like, either way, this person that was abusing their power over you, their darkness is coming to light. Because you put down the heavy burden and you cut access to yourself from this person. That's what's happening right now energetically, is those cords are being cut. You're ascending, you're rising. You have divine support to do this. And that's leaving them in a 3 of Swords, whole ass heartache. Just like they caused you. You're about to find out that someone who pretends to not see you is a non-stop watcher. This person watches you from the tallest mountain. They watch from a height that you can't see them watching. But they're watching and they know to not even try to compete where they cannot compare. But it's weird. It's like this person doesn't want to... I almost want to say this person doesn't want to be with you or be you. They just wanted to stop you in the beginning. But now they want to be with you and be you. Because of the nonstop watching. It's like they had to nonstop watch to try and stop you. To try and trap you away from your wish fulfillment. But you saw the truth in the lies. You saw the truth of who you are and that you don't need this person's energy or permission or support. Because all they were was a heavy burden that was trying to get you to take the path of least resistance, because that path was not for you. You weren't meant to take the path of least resistance. You were meant to take the path, beep for confirmation, that your soul was calling you to take. And that wasn't necessarily the one with the least resistance, because you were able to stay committed even in challenging times. And that's what this person witnessed. This person tried so hard to get you to veer left when you needed to veer right, and you still went with your soul. You went with your gut. You took that right instead of going a direction that wasn't calling to you. And this person, through watching you do all that, went from wanting to stop you to wanting to be with and or be you, because they saw you overcome this insurmountable obstacle. You were supposed to have all this heavy burden all the way up here and not be able to make it all the way down here. This distance here, this is when they started wanting to be with and or be you, because you weren't supposed to keep putting one foot in front of the other to get to where you are now. And now you're getting ready to put all of these obstacles down because you stayed committed to the right path. And this person has been watching you from the tippy top of this mountain, and they're impressed. They're very impressed. They're very, I can't compete, but I'm impressed. But I need to still have the upper hand, is what this person is thinking. They still want to have some control over you, the upper hand, but they don't. They don't. You've quite literally ascended. See how she's like ghostly, kind of water, kind of like this person, even if they try and grip you, they cannot. They cannot. And the entire time that you traveled down this mountain, you were still colored in like this, but now you're not. Now you've ascended. This, through releasing the heavy burdens, turns into you releasing yourself into a higher vibrational essence of truth. And because of that, this person no longer has that grip on you that they felt like they had before. See how there's like all the animals around him? It's like this person sends messengers or spies or people to do their bidding because they know they can't reach you now. They know that you're quite literally energetically out of their reach, and they don't have the control that they used to abuse over you. They no longer have it. And they want to be you, be with you, and they're not getting that wish fulfillment. They're not getting that because it's interesting because they want it to make you codependent on them, but they, in doing that, through watching you rise above it, ran themselves right into codependency themselves, because now they're dependent on you for the fuel for them to want to keep going after they failed their mission of stopping you. And it's turned their whole idea of what they thought was a sure thing or a solid thing, that's all been turned upside down, because they bet every last dime they had on being able to stop you before you made it down that mountain, and they couldn't, and they didn't. And not only that, but now they're watching you put down the heavy burdens that it's almost like they wanted you. You knew that you had to bring all this stuff to some kind of finish line here in order to collect your divine inheritance, right? And they wanted either you to just give up, you to trip and fall and stumble down the mountain, or at the very least, make all of this feel too heavy so that you left it all up there and that you didn't end up getting your divine inheritance because you didn't bring with you what you needed to trade in for it. Because all of these are lessons. All of these burdens are lessons. They thought for sure, if I can't stop you physically, if I can't knock you down and have you stay down, at the very least, you're not going to learn all the lessons. You're not going to complete everything you need to complete to earn that next chapter. And you did. And this person is shocked, quite frankly, because you're getting that victory and they're shocked. They didn't expect you to get there. They expected to be able to stop you, and they couldn't. So this is the scenario for this reading. There was someone in your life that was throwing a lot of dark magic at you. They were trying to block you from uncovering or discovering who you were, because once that happened, you would get access to the repressed memories of what they did to you that you weren't otherwise able to remember because they blocked it. Now, unbeknownst to you, this person was actually doing this at the direction of another person. This other person had the person who was throwing the magic at you kind of trapped in a situation, like almost like they were under a spell, but with demons, demonic entities. So because the person who was throwing the magic at you was not able to successfully achieve stopping you, because now you know, or you're coming into the knowing of what was previously repressed. So the person who, let's say, hired the middle person who was unable to complete their task, and this person went big against you, real big, the middle person. The punishment of sorts for that middle person for being unable to stop you is that demonic entity that was attached to them has just been removed. This person now feels on a human level the pain that they caused you. It's almost like there was darkness downloaded into the middle person's psyche, and the person who hired them, the main person, deleted all of the data of that dark entity and replaced it with drowning in feelings and emotions that replicate the way they made you feel, because their mission was failed. Because energy cannot be destroyed, only transmuted from one form to another. So in order for that energy that was sent out from that middle person at the direction of the other person, in order to prevent that from coming back to that main person, they're making that middleman that failed the task deal with the repercussions of what they sent to you. But without that darkness, This person is now drowning in the feelings, all the repressed feelings that they've had the entire time. Like the buildup of every repressed feeling and emotion is hitting this person at once from your perspective. What can we know about the person that sent you all of the magic? Queen of Swords and Ten of Swords, both in reverse. This person is nasty with their words, especially when they're talking about you to other people. And this is exactly what they sent to you coming back to them, because you spoke on the betrayal. You figured out the truth of what was going on behind the scenes that had been for a very long time. And because of that, they're dealing with the opposite of that, where all of their nastiness is now being reflected back to them as emotions and feelings. Swords and swords, thoughts. In reverse, all of those negative thoughts they intended for you to attack you mentally are now coming back to them as feelings that is almost like a dam bursting open, because it was all repressed, and now it's like that top person has opened the gates of the dam and it's all just flowing at once to this person in a way that's very difficult for them to handle. They won't show you that, but they're struggling. So the main person did not learn their lesson. And because of that, that demonic entity has attached itself to them. It's chasing them down. It won't leave them alone. It is one with them. Because as I said, energy cannot be only transmuted, not deleted, not created. So what they took away from that middle person in terms of that demonic entity, they willingly took on themselves. So they became more evil to make that middle person feel pain in terms of emotional overwhelm because of failing the mission of stopping you. There's the Queen of Cups in reverse. That middle person is drowning in all of those repressed emotions. And Ten of Pentacles reverse, you can see the map on the ground. They didn't get from point A to point B. And because of that, Ten of Pentacles, they've lost their Ten of Pentacles. They've lost their support, their stability, their security, whatever they thought they had, because they were unable to get you into this coffin and close it. They're now drowning emotionally, as almost as if they are seeing how you would have felt if all of this would have worked through your eyes. Karma. Big time. Channel message. It's because that person deprived you of love for so long that they were so sure that the person that they sent in to sabotage you would be successful, because they were love bombing you in the way that the person who set them up to come into your life refused to. It didn't work because you saw the connecting energy between the love bombing and what would later be hoarding or taking back all of that love, just like the person who originally sent them. Your intuition was not wrong. Just because that person was love bombing you doesn't mean that that's how it was going to stay. Your intuition told you danger. Your intuition told you set up, and you were right. So I don't know who needs to hear this today, but your intuition saved you heartbreak this time. I was just thinking about something. You know how like sometimes people don't choose you, even when they have you, they're just not willing to pour in that time, effort, and energy, and they eventually end up somehow, some way losing you. And then they look back after your glow up or after your healing or after your success, and they're like, man, if I only would have known that this was the potential of this person, as in you, I would have treated them better, I would have acted differently. You know who knew the whole time? God. God knew your glow up was coming. He knew that this person was going to be the catalyst for you choosing yourself. The power was always in your hands. You just had to be able to see it that way. And you weren't seeing it that way before by choosing someone who was not choosing you. It took that person not choosing you for you to choose you. But the whole time, God chose you because he put you through a storm knowing that there was only going to be one ship coming out the other side and it was going to be yours. He knew that person who didn't want to choose you would turn back and look in such regret because God knew what was coming for you. He knew that glow up, that success, that healing was coming. You just needed to put your foot on the gas, and that's what this catalyst person did for you. So the person who looks back like shoulda, coulda, woulda, in essence, they never had a chance with the healed version of you. They never had a chance with the successful version of you. They could not vibrate high enough to keep up with you in those levels. Let that be what helps you take your power back. Because the power was yours all along. You just had to see it for yourself. You're about to have a major aha moment. Like a positive one. But it's gonna... Yeah, it's like bringing you back to life where you were resisting a needed change. What is the aha moment? Clarity. Oh, clarity on a betrayal. But a betrayal that's already passed. It's not like something that's active. It's like you get information about something in the past that you didn't all the way understand, an injustice that allows you to take the swords out of your back. How does that trigger an aha moment? It's something you've been waiting for. Now you don't have to wait anymore so that you can put the heavy burden down. It's like freeing yourself from questioning if there's something that you could have done differently, or if there's something you should have done differently. Something to do with like timing. Feeling like the timing was off of something, or feeling like you wasted more time than you should have. And this is what's holding you back from showing up in the way that you want to show up, or stepping into the energy that you want to step into. It's like you're there, but your foot wasn't all the way on the gas yet because you wanted to make sure you weren't leaving any part of the lesson behind you. And this helps shine light on it. When is this aha moment coming? You're going to have an emotional release, either right before or right after. It's not going to be public. It's like, not like you're out in public and you have a breakdown. This is like, maybe you sit down in your car and you feel kind of overcome with emotions, or you get home, you lay down, and you feel overcome with emotions. And then you let yourself feel, and boom, aha moment. Victory. Boom, aha moment. Good job. This reading is for you if in the last week you've had, almost feels like you walked through a time warp type of deja vu. Like after it ended or on the other side of it, you were like, what just happened? That type of deja vu, because there's something that's trying to come through for you. But it's almost like it needs you to see a situation through the literal eyes of your higher self. So that keeps that program of your higher self like runs so that you get comfortable seeing it from that perspective, like able to see multiple timelines at once. So Four of Cups, usually there's a hand that's coming out of the cloud, handing a cup to the person that's sitting by the tree. You grounded yourself, and that's why you're ready for this. And the hand coming out of the clouds that's typically on this card is that download that's trying to come through for you. What is the download about? how to release a blockage that's in the way of a manifestation coming to fruition that requires some kind of vulnerability or you to have your walls down. And the secret here is that you now have the right community around you to be supportive of what you're going to do with this download. That's why it didn't come through before. You weren't ready to leave the nest yet in terms of allowing the communities to support you. But now you have this wish fulfillment coming in, and this download that's trying to come through is the key. So deja vu for you right now is essentially like your consciousness going between your current reality and your higher self, and then getting trapped in the middle just long enough to get you to recognize it so you can see that you're going back and forth between timelines. Yeah, there's the past. It's like you're not necessarily in the past, but you're able to see the past from a future perspective and able to see the future from a current perspective. And it's merging into one. There's the inner child. So you grounded yourself after being uprooted from what was an inner child or childhood wound. You grounded yourself, you re-rooted yourself, you planted yourself in better soil that would allow for this download to not only come through and be understood, but you be able to do something with it. What are you meant to do with this download? Express, speak on it, share it with others. And then the Wheel of Fortune here is making me think of like you have something on the hook of a fishing line and now you're just reeling it in. Like I can see her sitting there fishing and this is her hook. She's reeling it in. So something that you've been waiting for, something that you've been longing to come into fruition, this is the key that unlocks. It's like your fishing line was locked before and this is the key that unlocks it. So there's still work to do, but now you're able to reel it in. You already had it on the hook. You just couldn't turn the little knob thing, but now it's unlocked with this download that's coming through, that deja vu is allowing you to recognize, I guess you could say it that way. And the more that you share, the more that you speak, the more that you take back your power of your throat chakra that was blocked previously because of that inner child or childhood wound. Every time you do that, every time you say a word, it's another cranking of that wheel. And you're directly bringing in the manifestation that you've been longing for. So good job. This reading is for you if you specifically know that you are the main topic in a group chat. Because these people don't want to see you doing well. And these people refuse to see your heart and or your success for what it is. What do we need to know about this group chat? It feels like there's one main leader and everyone else just kind of follows suit in like, yeah, or kind of like enabling, agreeing with the main person. Like follow the leader type energy, because in the past it feels like it wasn't that way. It was everybody participating, but now it's down to just one person still continuing to talk and everyone else just kind of appeasing that one main person, because you've left the stage that they were comfortable seeing you at, and now they can't help but see your growth. They can't help but see your healing. They can't help but see that what they previously believed about you, what they were very committed to believing about you, is not what the reality of the situation is. These people see you stepping more into your passion here. All of them but the leader see you stepping more into your passion here. And it's something that they're unable to ignore. Especially when it comes to a specific change that you made because you released something that wasn't serving you so you could see a situation from a higher perspective, and that has been showing externally. You released a certain mindset that was keeping you stuck or keeping a lid on your potential, and you stopped trying to convince other people. Not that you necessarily were before, but you're in this energy of let them think what they want. I saw this thing the other day on Instagram, and it said, I'm at the stage in my life where if I say, wow, I really like dogs, and someone says, oh, that means you hate cats, I'm just gonna say, think what you want, or okay. Like that type energy. That's what you're in now. It's just because you say one thing doesn't mean that people can take that and run with their interpretation of what you mean. And you're okay now with just letting them think what they want and not having to try and convince. You're not here for trying to lead people into how you see a situation, because you know your heart, you know where you're coming from, you know, and you're correct. You're connected to your higher self in a way that you have never been before, in a very increased way, and they're not, and they don't like that you are. And that doesn't really matter to you anymore. You're fine standing on your own. You don't need approval from the group. And the interesting thing is that this leader of the group, they cannot stand to watch you go into better times because they are so stuck in the lower vibrational energy that they have been in. This person, the leader of this group chat, is someone who needs the validation from this group. If everyone were to stop appeasing them and stop answering them, the leader of this group, the one who's still talking, would really just fall apart. Especially as they watch you get wish fulfillment after wish fulfillment or healing after healing. They realize that they didn't learn their lesson of how to do the same. And as they watch you live your passion, they go more and more and more into their shell. But again, you don't need that validation from the group, and they do, and that's the difference. You rose above, you created balance, and they still are unable to think for themselves. They're stuck in the past. And that's not good for them. That's creating the opposite of what you've achieved. You've achieved this balance from a spiritual perspective, and they can't even climb that ladder because on a 3D level, everything is out of whack, imbalance, and it's because they're choosing to focus on you instead of themselves. This reading is for you if you're pretty sure that people have been sending you spell work specifically to slow you down, and it's showing up in like the weird paying for spell work to slow you down, and it's been showing up in like the weirdest ways, and the ways that like it's almost like, did they pay the practitioner to make it obvious that it's spell work, type spell work, and you know it's to slow you down. Yeah, they joined forces with somebody. Why are they doing this? Missing piece is they're trying to avoid a man-made disaster. Because there's a task that you're working on that after you complete it, there's a level up for your ascension, and it allows you a high enough perspective to see what about this person. That they're not who they say they are. Who are they? Someone that was supposed to be taking you all the way out. Yeah. Okay. They didn't hear you out then, but now it's message received. They didn't let you bring to life the flow that you were trying to create in something, and they outcasted you. They pushed you aside. They made you into a wallflower. And now that message is very received. Now they understand what they refused to understand before. What is this about? An injustice. Feels like your own story. People didn't believe your version of your own story about what you went through, about this mountain that you traversed with all of these burdens and how you made it down to the bottom. They didn't believe you, but they believe you now. They believe you now. Somewhat of a lesson from my dream last night. Pay attention to the common denominator. Looking back at the seasons of your life where there was struggle, what is consistent through all of them in terms of another person's influence? Even if you have the mindset of that person would never go against me. That's my family, that's my best friend, that's my spouse. Was that person the common denominator during each of those times of your life? Because if so, it's very likely they're deceiving you. It's very likely they have something to hide. Throwing rocks and hiding their hands, causing delays, trying to get you to not look internally to see the truth of the situation because there's manipulation. What can my collective know about the common denominator in their hard times? It was all about trying to get people to see you a certain way, as imbalanced or reckless, out of tune, fallen angel, working for the darkness. It was all about how you were perceived by others, because they didn't want them to see you as strong, as transformed. They wanted to focus on making you like them, a sheep. Coming from a lower perspective and being stuck in your head. They thought if they could get everyone externally to make you view you as less than, as bad, as dark, then it would be all the more easier to convince you that you were those things as well. That's the job or the role of the common denominator. Their job is to ruin your reputation or the way that you're looked at, and again, throw rocks but hide their hands. They have to stay by your side. They have to stay on your good side to cover up for the darkness that they're actually doing behind the scenes. But if they're the common denominator in each instance of your falls, of your dark nights of the soul, there may just be something that you're not seeing in terms of their intentions to sabotage you, to take away your power or abuse theirs over you, to blindside you into walking into a trap that looks like it's of your own making, but is actually all put together so that the world sees you as that common denominator wants them to see you, so that they can cover up for what they're actually doing behind the scenes, which is abusing their power, abusing their knowledge, abusing dark magic maybe, all to block you from the truth of who you are, so that you are not more powerful than them, which they could have worked on their own gifts in life too, but they decided to try and sabotage yours, which may delay you, but it blocks them. And eventually you turn it around anyway, because you are connected and you are powerful and you don't need their permission for it. I think that part of what is shifting for the collective right now, light workers, psychics, readers, those who can see energy, who can read energy, who can understand energy. I've said on my YouTube channel before, it's almost like for a while I've been able to see my mission from the end looking back, and the steps don't always make sense of how to get there, but it's a general idea of knowing what I'm heading towards. And I feel like that's the shift that's happening in collective consciousness right now. Those who have made amends with the parts of their shadows that they needed to so that their light wasn't blocked. Those who have cleared their karmic debts. Those who have cut those cords that were not serving us. We're now shifting to seeing our mission from the end, looking back. So it's easier, or at least more viable, to figure out the steps that need to be taken to get from where we are to where we ultimately complete those missions that we were sent here for. So it's a shifting of perspective, and not necessarily seeing things from a higher perspective, because a lot of us, we were already doing that. We already had that higher perspective. So there's only, you can only look from straight down, and if we're already there, what then could be shifting? We're seeing it from the finish line, looking back towards where we are right now, so that we can use that higher perspective to see, okay, where are the pitfalls that I need to avoid? Where are the traps that I need to avoid? Because now I know where I need to go. Now I know what I need to share. Now I know what I need to do on my mission. And I can use this higher perspective that I already earned and was already using as a tool, in combination with the ability to now see from the finish line, looking back to where we are now. This is a perspective shift that is kind of triggering a lot of other side effects. Deja vu, vivid dreams, conversations where it feels like maybe other people are completing or answering thoughts that you were having. We are bouncing back and forth in our psyche between seeing our vision from our current perspective, warp speeding forward, seeing it from the finish line, making sure that what we're planning fits, and then realigning back with our current self. It's almost like a merging of timelines, but not merging, because it's almost like we're in this energy of no man left behind. If we just whoop and merge and don't come back, those that we're trying to help, those that we're trying to wake up, they won't be able to understand us from that vibration of the finish line. Which is why it's like we get a peek from the finish line and then we come back and see, how can I use what I just learned from that finish line perspective to get people who are on the vibration of my now to understand. Going to look at outgoing and incoming energy, because I keep getting the same message that I got the other day about the fog clearing for the collective. I kind of want to see in what area. So what is that outgoing energy? Oh, the Tower. Okay. So an uprooting or a shakeup. You've learned the lesson that you needed to from it, and now what's coming in? Oh. No more waiting around. Those who tried to stop the collective's blessings previously, their true colors are showing. Because we made it through the Tower moments that were supposed to stop us. Judgment. Judgment's here for those who went against the collective. They can no longer present themselves as a false light. It's going to start to be very, very clear that they were put in the path to stop the actual light. And that they are, in essence, then, the darkness. Sun in reverse, the darkness. The monsters are no longer under the bed. but we're no longer scared of them either. This reading is for you if you're waiting for news or a message about something and you expect to be getting it soon. Not the message. So what is standing in the way of a message is something on the other person's side or something on the party that you're waiting from the message. It's like something on their end hasn't sprouted yet, and that's what's blocking the message. And there's some need to get clarity on your end. It's almost like your desire for the answer is pushing away the answer. Yeah, Justice in reverse, Nine of Cups in reverse. The opposite of a wish fulfillment because of some kind of imbalance. So it feels like your yearning for it is almost being used as a lesson in appreciating what you already have before the changes come, because you know that you've earned this change already. And the delay that you're experiencing right now is not meant to make you start to switch priorities onto something else. You're still meant to go forward with this and take a leap of faith on yourself here, because you are getting stability or security from this message when it does come in. But there's a lesson here in seeing something from a higher perspective where you're currently seeing it from a lower perspective when it comes to manifestation, or knowing. It's like you already know the answer, you already know the outcome, and you're meant to settle in to almost like the calm before the storm, but not in like a negative storm way. This is your final test. This is your final test of patience before you get access to increased gifts here and the light turns back on and you see things more clearly. This is a final test here. A test of vulnerability, a test of patience, a test of not thinking that something's wrong with your strategy just because the timing is divine timing and not your own. Yeah, Chariot in reverse. It's not moving in the way that you thought it would, but it's something that you already earned. You're meant to have the faith and the confidence that what you have already put in the time, effort, and energy for, or even intention for, is already yours. But there's a need to release control of the timing, because you're calling in something bigger and better than what you were expecting. And that message that you're waiting for is the opening of the door for it. So there's like a little bit of winding up is what I'm hearing. Your manifestation is winding up, and then it's going to take a beeline straight to you on the other path. Magician. But Four Pentacles in reverse, you're not meant to break apart the solid foundation that allowed you to manifest this in the first place. This is like, am I going to remain confident and patient, knowing that what I feel is mine will come to me in due time. So it's coming when you release the expectation of it coming. There are past wrongs that were done to you that will soon be made right. You're still feeling defeated over these particular past wrongs. I'm going to see where justice is and see what we need to know about it. One second. Justice. So we have Ten of Pentacles before it. Justice is in reverse. Four of Pentacles after it. So we're going back to the past of when it felt like your foundation crumbled underneath of you, and we're using that injustice of what caused that to give you your Ten of Pentacles. Not give you, because you've earned it, but we have to go back to what previously dug up the foundation that you thought was solid, but you needed more growth. So something came in as an injustice to provide the opportunity for more growth. And now that is the catalyst that's bringing your 10 of Pentacles. Stability, security, overcoming what was meant to shake you up so bad that you couldn't stand back up. Now you're jumping forward because of it. Good job. This reading is for you if in the last 72 hours you had what felt like a major shadow that was about to be triggered and then it wasn't. Things like cooled down. That is going to be triggered this upcoming week, but it's a catalyst for change here. Yeah, your higher self is preparing you. So that little, oh, is it going to happen? Oh, and then it doesn't. It's preparing you to handle it when it does arise. What is the shadow? Some type of codependency, or like the wound of feeling like you need to prove who you are in order to earn love. That wound is going to be triggered in what way? You may be seeing an ex. You may be reminded of someone who made you feel that way in the past, just at a moment where you feel a little bit more vulnerable. But yeah, whoever it was that you gave some of your power away to them, and they hurt you with that power that you gave them. So that particular wound or shadow is going to be triggered to see if you healed it, and you did. Or at least you did enough that the triggering of it is not going to bring you backwards in any sense. So essentially it being triggered this upcoming week is for you to show you that you have healed more than you're giving yourself credit for right now. You're doubting yourself, but you took back your power. You took back your divine authority when you spoke your truth, when you expressed and released. You're not holding on to the shadow. And that's why you transmuted that shadow. And that's why you're going to be able to walk through something that in the past would have kind of tripped you up a little bit. Because that darkness that's being triggered isn't darkness. You turned it into light. This is simply the opening of the window, so any remnant air from that toxic cycle can be released. It's like a spring cleaning, but you need to see that you're ready for it. And you are. And you are. Justice. So feel the feelings, don't repress them, and know that this isn't a punishment. This is simply you getting to see yourself from a higher perspective so that you can finally give yourself the credit that's due to you for the work you put into healing. You have some trickling in of a new beginning coming. It's part of your wish fulfillment, but it's not the whole wish fulfillment. It's like you're jumping through the door so that you can grab the pieces of your wish fulfillment. This is something that you've been longing for some time, but you were kept in the dark about how it would unfold. And it's unfolding because you spoke your truth, and that allowed you to make progress here towards this new beginning. You spoke your truth on something that emotionally was bothering you when it comes to either family or a connection or relationship or a falling out that you had with someone who I'm hearing you should have been able to trust, but you weren't able to trust this person because you were being kept from the truth about yourself, or you learned a hard truth about them. And at first you doubted it was true, but your angels, ancestors, and guides came in with some kind of big confirmation that you were correct. And after you discovered you were correct, it's like you took your emotional ties away. It's like you recognized that you had this loyalty that was not being returned by the other party. And it allowed you to emotionally detach enough to speak your truth. And now your victory is coming because of it. Because you pulled back from a community that wasn't for you. And now we have this manifestation beginning to trickle in for you. All because you surrendered and were able to put down the weight of a heavy burden, but you still were emotionally mature enough to understand and understand the lessons that were meant to come from this. Even though it kind of gave you a headache to even think about it. And still to this day, it's like when you think about this betrayal, all you can see is the other person's dark side. And you do not relate. You are not the same. It's hard for you to understand, even though you can comprehend. So you know what they did. You know kind of why they did it. You may be able to see, okay, if I was in that lower vibrational energy, I can understand why you did what you did. To some, you can understand the explanation that they convinced themselves was accurate, even though you don't agree with it. And now your justice is coming in because you tore up the foundation that wasn't supporting you, that was only hurting you and blocking you from your intuition. Blocking you from yourself, blocking you from being who you truly are, keeping you in this downcast energy before you started speaking your truth. But you moved forward and took your power back when it comes to healing that inner child wound, especially from the betrayal that others were trying to sabotage you, trying to make it so that what you planted would not sprout, trying to keep you in your head. But you rebirthed yourself here, and because of that, you have a trickling in of a major manifestation that's going to start to come in within the next 2 weeks. This reading is for you if you are aware that you for sure were trying to be put into a situation to take the fall for something that you literally had nothing to do with. You might not have even known the other people involved in it, or you might not even really know what it is that you were being attempted to be set up for, but you know there was a plan in place to trap you into a situation that you could not get out of through no fault of your own. I have female on the bottom of the deck, so take it how it resonates. This is the information that will help you fill in the blanks of what you don't know about the plan. You were thinking that you had more time, but you had not recognized how long this plan was going on before you caught on to it. It was going to be some kind of court case or legal trouble that was the ultimate trap. It's like there was little pitfalls that were all leading towards the ultimate trap that you couldn't get out of. Involving the missing piece is either taking things that you said and twisting it, or my phone almost died. So there is something very significant about things that you said and twisting it. As I said, that my phone almost died. So that was the final nail in the coffin here for you, so to speak, was to use things that you said in a way that was totally opposite of what your intention behind it was. So this can be like taking conversations and other people deleting out their part of the conversation and making it look like the conversation was about something totally different. But there's communication, and then my phone, boom. It's that was what was supposed to completely get you trapped and shut into this scenario, was twisting what you said. The monster comes out of the sea. That your own words were supposed to be used against you to make you feel like you were drowning. And or make you look like you had substance abuse problems or mental health problems beyond what you actually had. It's like exasperating any little problem that you had and making it seem 3,000 times greater than it was. And that was supposed to lead to the end of the road for you. Password. The plan ran real deep to put your light out. And they failed. I keep getting this same vision over and over, and this time when I got it, it started raining outside, which will make sense in a second as to why that's important. So I don't remember what movie it is, but do you know the movie where it's Santa and he's sitting at a computer and he's answering everybody's, like, the prayers that everyone's saying, the thoughts are all coming in as emails, and Santa's sitting there and he's answering them. It's an older movie. I can't remember what movie it is, but anyway, I keep getting that as a reference, but in reverse, almost like a download being sent out to all the collective in response to certain prayers or intentions or thoughts, but like it all gets sent out kind of at once and then translates to each person differently, but it's kind of like the same message, kind of, but like in each person's individual understanding of it, or like for your specific part on your journey. So it feels like it's coming before Christmas. I want to say this week, but it feels like it's coming before Christmas. What is this download that we're all going to be receiving about? Clarity about what was previously blocking us from getting to know ourselves on a deeper level. In what way? Oh. In the way the devil didn't want us to know. In a way that, upright, this is like very independent energy. This is like the download that we receive helps us reconnect to our higher self in a way that's almost like direct communication with our higher self. Not like there's like any need for a translator in between, because we now know that we can trust what we're receiving. Yeah, fast communication, because we prioritized re-grounding, re-rooting, re-stabilizing our energy. So we were previously kind of like waiting the water, like stuck in place, unable to move forward. And this is like the download that allows us a higher perspective, so we start swimming again instead of just kind of being stuck in place. We're seeing the truth that allows for vulnerability and allows us to see what was previously blocking us from a wish fulfillment and why it had to be blocked. Almost like we had to transform first to be in a certain mindset so that when we get that wish fulfillment, we do the most good with it. Because what it is a transmutation of the pain, of the hard hand that we were previously dealt. And now it's celebration coming in. It's a passionate celebration coming in. Oh, we're getting a download that shows us the next step of how to share our passion with others, because we're now ready for the vulnerability required, and we also now have a direct connection to our higher selves that we know we can trust as support. It's divine masculine, divine feminine. We're rebirthing ourselves back into our power. They thought they beat us playing checkers, all the while we were playing chess. Channeled message. They thought they had you because they thought that either you were like them and you were just hiding it well, which made them angry because why can you hide it better than they can? Or they thought at the very least they could dump enough trauma or pain onto your heart to make it cold like theirs. Now, if they would have been right about you, you would have needed to seek their validation or approval just like they need to from the group, because they are woefully unable to think on their own. And so you couldn't be able to think on your own because you were just like them, just hiding it. Except you weren't. They thought they had you because you pulled back energetically to go into hermit mode and kind of retreat into your heart space and say, what needs healing in here? Because I don't want to project this pain out into the world. So what do I need to heal before I step back out into the world? The opposite of any effort that they've ever made, because their way of getting over their pain was projecting it onto every single person they could, because they looked at it like this cup that was full of hurt, and if they could just empty it all out onto other people, they thought it would go away. But since you are not like them, you did not see it that way. You saw this cup as the only way that I can get this toxic water out of this cup is if I pour enough love into it to counterbalance and get that water that doesn't belong out of the cup. Never once did you say, ooh, I'll just squirt it on people and then that'll make it go away, because you're not like them. So when you pulled back energetically to do the work of transmuting that energy, they thought for sure they had you. So they sent you spell after spell after spell during that time period so that you would reveal yourself, reveal your true colors. If you look back over that time period, you can see how their magic worked, but it didn't quite reveal what they expected it to reveal. They got it where you showed your true colors, but your true colors were not like their true colors. Your true colors were pure and full of intention to heal and to help, the opposite of what theirs are. And what's interesting about this is, since they knew they sent you this magic, they were looking and waiting, very observant on everything you did and said, because at any moment this person's gonna slip and fall into a crack they won't be able to get out of, because they swore up and down that you had to be faking it. You had to be just like them because they spent all this time projecting onto you. So it had to take effect, right? Very wrong. So as they're sitting there watching and waiting, knowing that this magic is going to hit you, they watch you start to reveal those true colors of the effort that you put in to filling that cup with pure water and getting all the mucky water that was theirs out of the cup. They poured darkness into you and then sent you spell work to expose their darkness that they poured into you. Yeah. Anyway, they now recognize two very important things. One, you are an alchemist. You are the magician. No matter how much they project onto you, you will take it and you will turn it into light. So what does that lead them to? Realizing that there's nothing that they can do that won't just make you stronger and wiser and more bright. Number two, and this one, it stings them down to their core. It really does, all the way down to the core. They're now recognizing that projecting pain onto someone who's willing to do the work to transmute it does not get rid of that pain. And when you couple that in with some magic, It's like a boomerang that gains intensity, gains weight, so to speak, as it comes back. As it's spinning back through the air, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they are now, just as they sat there and waited for you to reveal yourself, they know it's coming. They know that every ounce of darkness they tried to send back to you is coming back to them as a flashlight that is simply going to do what they tried to do to you, what they did do to you. They exposed your true colors, but they really tried to expose their own true colors after they projected it onto you. But this time, when it boomerangs back, it's their true colors that are going to be center stage for everyone that they had fooled to go against you, to finally see who the real bad guy is. And it's not you. Channeled message. What they're most mad about, and it's funny, really, obviously, they underestimated your ability to just literally not give a shit what other people think about you. And I know you're probably like, I know, but like, really think about it. Think back at all of the mountains you had to climb. Now think about if you would have given any bit of a shit what other people think about you. How much harder would those mountains have been? They underestimated your ability to not give a shit what other people think about you, and that is a regret that they will harbor for the rest of their lives. And it's mixed in with so much jealousy because they can't help but to give a shit what other people think about them. It's what they live for. And you don't live with it at all. Ooh, it makes them so mad. They threw lots of stones living in their glass houses. And now they're realizing and getting a lesson why that's not a good idea. All that emotional manipulation that they sent out to try and get your happy ending to not happen here, now all of that is coming back to them. It's reappearing as stress, strain. And what's interesting is they had the key. The key was you. The key to them finally recognizing that they were projecting unhealed parts of themselves. You were that key that was supposed to show them there's a better way. But they wanted to continue to throw stones and then run away from any consequences, thinking that they could run forever, but they can't. They can't run forever. Your angels, ancestors, guides are giving them a very hard lesson. See how he's sitting there all calm and he's protected by this dog? That's you. They're recognizing you're rooted and protected from your toes all the way to the tippy tops of your spirit, to your soul. You are connected. You are protected. You are working as a team with those protectors. And now these people are recognizing they threw the stones, living in their own glass house. And every time they threw a stone, they wondered, why isn't it shattering your house? Your bodyguards. They had you protected. And they caught every one of those stones. And as soon as you learned the lesson in self-love, in discernment, in whatever the lesson was at that time, your angels, ancestors, guides had that stone in their hand. And when you didn't need it because your lesson was learned, it got thrown right back to those glass houses where it came from. They tried to cause lack of balance that would lead to permanent injustice against you. getting you trapped in a situation that was ongoing and never ending. And this had been brewing up since childhood. We have the same dog energy. You were still protected then. You were protected then, just like you're protected now. And all of that they tried to send you has just been accumulating and accumulating. Because they need it for their plan to work, for you to remain in that wounded inner child, so that you would be stuck in your head. Their plan didn't work. They had an advantage in the beginning. Before you knew your power, your strength, because your soul in this lifetime was like an egg. You always had that power, you always had that strength, but there was this coating of protection, like a shell, that was on the outside to keep you safe from your, not from your light, but from the target that your light would put on you. From those who would rather not see you shine. So you had this shell of protection until it was time for you to really step into the energy of the discernment that you had to earn through trials and tribulation. And so they had this advantage of time, there was a period of time before you knew these things about yourself, and they used that to run down this hallway that they knew you would be eventually traversing down, and making sure that they double and triple and padlocked every single door on this hallway, not knowing that God gave you the master key. It was just in that shell with you, waiting for you to be ready to crack open and rebirth yourself and burst out of the shell with this master key, that it didn't matter how many locks they put on how many doors, because you were going to open them when it was time. And it's time. You know how sometimes you think things and then they show up on your phone as an ad? Well, imagine that this is kind of what the person who went against you did. It's like they looked at your dark night of the soul and they gave this better than, I've handled worse, I could do that with my eyes closed and my hands tied behind my back. And you weren't really showing that you were struggling, but they were looking at your energy, so they knew what you weren't showing. They knew that you were struggling, but that you were handling it. And they projected all this energy of, I can do it, I could do it, I could handle that. Well, now they're experiencing it, and it turns out, shocker, they can't handle it like they thought they could. Partner in crime in reverse, their spirit team is not there with them because it's like they didn't pay the bill for their spirit security, because they needed some good karma to have that protection, and all they have is bad karma. All they've done is create tower moment after tower moment for people who were undeserving. And now those towers are all falling in their life, and they don't love it. And they're trying to keep people from seeing what's going on. They're hiding it well. But they're going through what you went through and recognizing they aren't able to handle it as seamlessly as they expected themselves to. Almost like they're being chased down, ready to be thrown into spiritual jail. That's been a long time coming. Was that the devil? It was. The devil has them trapped. They can't get out. And he's trying to hide himself. I saw him clear as day fall out, but he tried to hide himself. That's what's coming for them. Spiritual jail that they can't break free of, because they swore it was so easy. And they were wrong. They wish they could take that back now. And it's the end of the road. Secret's out. Something very interesting that I've noticed recently. People love to play it tough. They like to be the big, strong one with the power, right? They'll go against you just to feel more powerful. And then it'll turn into deep-rooted hate and anger when they can't outpower you. They start to recognize after some time that those who are aligned with their purpose, the ones that are often easy targets of this kind of narcissistic power grab type of abuse, it's like they have one move, and that's brute force. They need to knock you over and get you to stay down and not get back up. And then after they see you get back up each and every time, after they realize you're the magician, you alchemize whatever darkness is thrown your way. So what can they throw at you that you won't get back up from? Nothing. It then turns to this realization. It's like you're in a boxing match or a UFC cage. They can punch you, they can kick you, they can knock you down. And you have the opportunity to get back up each and every time, no matter how bad it hurts. They realize that they can come with as many combinations of punch, kick, slap, knockdown, and you have the opportunity to get up each and every time. But with you, it's different. When you pull back your energy, it's like suddenly the oxygen in the whole building is shut off. They can't fight against that, because that's something they can't just stand back up from. And that's what makes them so mad, is that divine authority that they can't have because they don't do good things when no one's looking. They're dirty and dark and pretend to be light in the faces of those that are easy to fool. And that's why the light workers are targeted. We're not easy to fool. We see them. And if we want to, we can make sure that everybody else sees them too. So they try to stop us before that happens. They can kick and punch all they want, but we control the oxygen. And if we're not giving them or their energy the time of day, they eventually run out of that oxygen. There's news coming to you in an unexpected way before the end of the year about a past situation. So the situation is no longer something that's necessarily affecting you, but it had a lot to do with this heavy burden that you had to put down when you had to kind of stand against the group or go against the grain in some way. It's like someone being sent in to hurt you or block you, specifically in terms of grounding, finances, heart space. And the plan, they got a certain extent into the plan, but the plan didn't work. The plan backfired. And now you're getting some kind of news from someone else, or like through something that someone else says, that's going to help you see the truth that sets you free here. What truth is going to set you free? This wasn't something you brought on yourself. This is something that someone saw your light, your ability, your talent before you did, and they wanted to take it on themselves to get the rewards that came from that. So they had to let you build it up, all while siphoning your energy in a way that you wouldn't see coming because you didn't have your walls up around particular people. And again, this situation has been basically put to rest, but it's like they're looping back around. Like someone's trying to loop back around and get some kind of fresh new beginning with you, and they're very committed to reconnecting. And it's like before that can happen, because this person is still an energy predator, before you take a leap forward towards this person, there's an independent party that's going to bring to your attention that this person is not changed. This person is still, this person wants to loop back around because they haven't changed, and they're trying to soften the blow of this Tower moment using some kind of lies or manipulation in terms of words. So it's basically like before someone else can loop back around and try to alter your energy or mess with your perspective on a situation, you're getting some kind of reminder by getting information about what they did to you in the past that you don't necessarily have all the information about yet, so that when this person loops back around, you can kind of just shut your eyes and say, no, I don't need this. I have everything I need. And I'm emotionally secure enough to not seek validation from someone who didn't want to give it to me when they were in my life, because you've rebirthed a new energy for yourself, and they want to delay that Wheel of Fortune from coming in. Don't let them. This is for you if you have recently had a major shift publicly in your energy, or maybe like your level of success, or maybe even just like a project that you're presenting, but it's like, you know, that people from your past, specifically from your hometown, are watching and not happy about this because they now are unable to reach you. It's like you've exceeded their expectations, and they don't like that. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them feel like you have risen above what you should have been able to because of their betrayal, because they didn't want to see you win. So it's victory in reverse. They wanted to delay your Wheel of Fortune. Almost like just by sending you negative wishes, like it's like all through intention. It's like they thought that because they were so against you that everybody else would be too. But you were divinely supported here on this specific part of your mission to rebirth yourself in a public way, and you're transforming right before everyone's very eyes, despite all of their sabotage and betrayal and manipulation when it comes to how you should have been seen by others. Nine of Wands, the Emperor, and the Devil in reverse. They're abusing of... It's like you were on one side of the wall and they were on the other side of the wall, and they thought if they just kept you ostracized on your side of the wall that they could get away with their slander and their name calling and all of that. But the Devil lost here, even though they had power to abuse and they abused it. Or at least they had like the opportunity. Maybe you don't live in your hometown anymore. It's like you weren't around to defend yourself, so they took it and ran with it. Independence. They took it and ran with the fact that you weren't around to defend your name, and now they're realizing they made a big boo-boo. They're looking at you now like, oh, that person probably would have been better on my team instead of potentially against me once they find out about the slander. And they didn't expect you to complete this cycle that you have completed, but they're still right where you left them. See how the Hermit's back is to the world in reverse? You're looking one way and it's not the way that they are. This is like a hamster wheel of immaturity that they're trapped in, and they don't know how to get out of it. And you did, despite their betrayal, despite their name calling, despite their sneakiness, you found a way to get this one white bird through this gang of darker birds that was against that bird. So you came up against a whole team that was slandering your name when you weren't around to defend yourself, and now they're watching you rise. They're watching your light regardless of the injustice. They did not expect you. They expected you to stay numb. They thought, there's no way this person's going to unnumb themselves enough to bring this heart to light, to bring their gifts to the public setting. And they bet every dime against you, and they've lost. And now final judgment's being called because that karma's on the way back to them, and the beginning of it is watching you step into a whole new chapter of your life. Watching you rise above the ashes of what they tried to make you become. They wanted to keep you stuck. See how it flew on me? It's like they tried to have your pain buried deep enough, or they wanted your pain to not be acknowledged so that it stayed with you, but you shook it off. You found clarity. You decided, I don't need people who aren't going to support me. I don't need people who don't want to see me shine. And you released all of that energy from holding you back and putting a lid on your potential. And now their karma is watching you get that 10 of Pentacles, watching you get that success, that stability, watching you leave the nest. It's your time to fly, and they may hate it, but they can't look away. There's a person from your past that is still probably a little bit in your life, or at least still could access you if they wanted to. This person has been for a very long time playing the victim mode of something that you don't even really know about, but they're blaming you for. It's like problems that are stemming from their own actions. They're blaming on you because you're not around to defend yourself. And then they're stuck in this victim mode mentality. Who is this person? Because this person is getting a lesson here. Someone who, hearing dull, like they're very dull when they're around you, and it's because they have to put up the facade of being victimized by you. This person, it always feels like they're overthinking, or they're in their mind, or they're caught in thought when they're with you, and it's because they're trying to upkeep their false story of victimhood. What is it that they're playing victim to? So it's almost like they're saying that your intentions are to block any forward progress for them. Almost like if they were to say that you were sending them spell work, or at least like ill intentions, or because of something you're doing, they're stuck and unable to move out of a certain situation. And it's also this feeling of you give to others but not to them, or you shine light for others but not to them. It's an energy that used to have people fooled, but people are not fooled anymore. They can see that there's something deeper. They can see that this person is receiving karma for their own actions, and you were kind of pulling back your energy from this person because of things that you didn't need the physical proof of, but words that were said against you to the community or to a group of other people from this person. And it's meant to make you look dark and imbalanced. So you were picking up on the fact that this person was painting you as a dark energy that's reckless or imbalanced. And you didn't have proof of it, but you were still protecting yourself around this energy because of what you could feel coming from this energy. And you were trying to avoid some kind of unnecessary drama or tension or battle. It's like, I don't have proof, so I can't say anything, but that doesn't mean I don't energetically still feel that something's up here. This person always made you feel out of line when it comes to self-love. Like they made you question yourself, or they made you question, like, why can't I get along with this person? Why don't I feel myself around this person? And it's all because this person wasn't really for you, but they weren't showing you that publicly, all because they wanted to block your light here. This person's coming up as the King of Pentacles in reverse, so abusing maybe financial power over you, abusing, it's like an uneven power dynamic from the start, so you had to kind of play nice in some regard, but it just never felt like you were planted in healthy soil when you were around this person. You weren't held, you weren't safe, you weren't protected. And you were in this energy of feeling downcast and like you can't express your emotions. So it's like you're energetically picking up on this, but with no physical proof. So there was some awkwardness in the dynamic of this relationship. And now everyone else is starting to see the true colors because this person played victim mode for so long and had so many other people fooled, and that cycle is ending now. Now this person is trapped in a cycle that they can't get out of because their true colors are showing. Their inside is showing on the outside. Their real intentions are showing because they wanted to cause you delays, but you're divinely protected. So while they may have been able to delay you, people are now seeing your true colors as well. It's like that's what they wanted to delay. They wanted to delay people from seeing your true colors because everything in duality, it means that their true colors would also show, and they don't want that. They don't want that. We have the King of Wands and Queen of Pentacles here. This person wanted, it feels like a control of your finances, but it's like more just like a control of your passion. This person wanted to be almost, if your passion is like a water fountain, and they wanted to be in control of when it was turned on and off. But you woke up from this spell and you were like, there's something that my energy is picking up on that I don't have proof of, but I need to start to pull back. I need to not continue to take what's offered for me here because it's just making me feel less than or sad or depleted. And you made some change when it came to how you handled your emotions. You started pouring that love into yourself instead of into people who didn't deserve it. And you took a leap of faith towards making some kind of final decision here that allowed you to see beyond the veil of what was being hidden. You said, okay, I believe what my intuition is telling me. And since then, you've had confirmations that you were right about this person who is keeping some, like a pathway to falsely represent you. It's like they kept the entrance to that hidden so you couldn't even see it was happening. And you cut this person off, and since they've been in victim mode, everyone is starting to see clearly and take action on not supporting this person that's in this false victim mode. And this person now is not getting what they want here. This person wanted to convince everyone to see things from their perspective, but they couldn't. And now it's like they need to let go of you being the picture of the heavy burden, and they don't have anything to replace that with. It's like where before everything was your fault, now they can't continue to do that. It's like they've been found out. Everyone can see clearly now. And this person now, it's like what was once a two-way street, now they're trying to close access to them because they need to clean up the act of the false image that has now been found out. And this was a big betrayal because this person is very imbalanced. But when you walked away, it allowed you to heal that inner child. And you stayed very committed to looking at the shadows even when they hurt. And you've done that publicly. And people see the truth of the situation. The truth has manifested. And everyone now sees that this person that was in victim mode is not the victim. They were the abuser in disguise. Interesting channeled message. You're going to be getting the opportunity to drink from your soul's fountain of youth, like something that makes you feel either realigned with your inner child in a big way. It's like you're coming out of the darkness here and taking some kind of leap of faith, having fun in some way, drinking from that fountain of youth. It's like you've been waiting for this, but you had to, there was some kind of dis-ease that was causing an imbalance, and you created balance. When it comes to how your life looks on the outside versus how it feels on the inside, you've created a true balance that a lot of people aren't able to find. And now you're getting to drink from that fountain of youth, of self-love, of choosing yourself above all obstacles. High Priestess was the card that was up next, but my phone almost died. It was on 10%. I feel like this is happening for you just in the nick of time. Like, you need this refresher right now, and it's being given to you. This reading is for you if you have an ex who looped back around and tried to make you a third party in an ongoing situation that they already had. That person that's the third party knows about you. Knows about you, is keeping an eye on you, a big eye on you. And it's interesting that this is the card that came out, because I was just about to say, is embodying your energy, is trying to be you, specifically the way you talk, specifically the way you present yourself. This person is copycat trying to embody your energy because they cannot figure out how you have that ex's world turned all the way upside down. And in a way that they never could, and in a way that they have felt like it might as well just stop waiting around because it's never going to happen. But it happened once you were back in the picture. It's that heavy burden that this person just can't put down. And this person is really trying to be seen publicly how you're seen publicly. They're taking what you put out in public and copying that into their own energy field. It's giving biggest fan. Again, communication, everything you say. They're trying to talk the way you talk. And essentially what's happening is that's causing your ex to miss you more, because there's like this weird unspoken thing going on where your ex is aware that this person is watching you, because it has to be so, because they weren't you and now they're trying to be you. So there has to be some viewing going on, right? And it's like this unspoken increasing tension. Show me a card for the tension. I just explained it. You already know, because I just explained it. There's a silence, like eerie silence. We're not talking about feelings. We're not talking about emotions. We're just numb. And it's because this person is embodying your energy and it's making your ex miss you. It's like stirring up. It's like your ex talked to you with so much passion and this person not so much. And they want to respond to this person in the way that they would respond to you if these things were coming from you, but they can't because it's not you. And it's very awkward for them. There's like a lack of sense of camaraderie between the two of them. There's a lot of priorities that are causing them to feel defeated. Their priorities are avoidance. Their priorities are numbness. And they feel like they're stuck in the situation now that they can't get out of. They wish they could turn the page backwards, because it's like your ex wishes that they could go back and not experience you again, because then they wouldn't be in such a bad state, because the ex or the karmic wouldn't be copying you and they wouldn't be refreshed by your memory type of thing. But it's like double dose of torture, because now they miss you and they have someone who's literally copying you because of the effect that you had on this person, on your ex. Play dumb games, win dumb prizes, right? This person is the one that planted the seed. This person is the one that planted the seed. And now they're dealing with the consequences of their bad choices. I keep getting this message on and off today. The speed is changing. And I keep getting a reference to, there's this one ride, I don't know if it's still at Disney, but it like was inside of a building and then you came out of the building a little bit and there was like a little bit of a track outside and then you zoomed back in the building. I keep getting that reference, like almost like when you're inside the building, you're kind of in the dark, you can't really see well, and then all of a sudden you pop out. And it's not necessarily that you're going faster, but you can see, so it seems like it's faster. What is this message about? Oh, Three of Swords in reverse. So releasing pain, strength in reverse, working through self-doubt. It's like you finally have the courage to look at a certain shadow wound head on, and that's what turns the lights on in the building. Because you're not relying on the crowd here. You're not relying on the group here. We have two threes in reverse. It's that energy of the first will be last and the last will be first. It's like we're speeding up towards that and we're going to start seeing proof of it. I have a confirmation. Ten of Cups. Happy family. The ones who were last are coming to be first together. Confirmation. Two of Swords in reverse. We've finally gotten out of our head. This is a decision you can't go back from. So it's not going to switch and then switch back. It's like that's how it's going to be. And then those who were first already and abused that privilege will have to work their way back up the list. Justice. We are speeding up towards the first being last and the last being first. This message is for you if in the last 3 to 6 months you went through something that felt like digging down deep to specifically trigger a wound that had been buried, almost like you didn't forget about it, you knew it was there, and you were trying to protect that ground so it didn't get dug up, and someone else's actions, words, or intentions caused this wound to get dug up and surface. Everything the devil uses for evil, God uses for good. They triggered a wound, but they dug up a key. You just have to look down in that hole to discover that the key was there. You had to be ready to face that wound head on, and it's almost like you get this Easter egg of a level in a video game where you didn't know it was going to be there, but it is. It's some kind of perspective shift. It's like a repressed memory, a repressed emotion that once you shine light on it, it puts up this certain shadow onto the wall, and it paints the perfect picture that helps you understand and release to gain a higher perspective that sets you free in a big way. And it's interesting because whoever is the cause of digging this key up, because of that quantum entanglement, as you use this key to unlock the next door, it winds this person up in a way that everything you said to try and make them into the best version of themselves, all of a sudden they start to see proof that you were just trying to help them. You were coming from a place of love. And this key, when you use it and you go through this door, there's no going back to what caused that wound initially. You leave that in the vibration of the world you're leaving behind, because you're stepping into a new world without having to relive that same pain that you endured in your old one. And they don't get any credit here because they didn't put the key down there. They didn't have the idea to put the key down there. This key was down there from your higher self. And your higher self allowed you to go through this experience knowing that you could handle it so that this key could surface. So they don't get any credit, but you're winning either way. It may be hard to believe right now, but there's going to come a day when all those people who refused to see the truth of who you are, who would believe anything else other than the truth of who you are, they're going to have to see it one day. They're going to have to look at you and say, I was wrong. And not that you're in it for that, but you've always been that pure projection that allowed others to see their own faults. So they projected those faults onto you. They won't be able to see you until they recognize that that's what they were doing. But in order to ascend, that day will come. That day when they have to look at you and say, oh shit, I was so wrong. Channeled message. The people who were looking into your energy, trying to beat you on your own path, like they wanted what you had, they wanted to embody your energy. It's like they jumped into your life path and they were trying to sprint towards that finish line, which isn't really a finish line. It's more like a gate into the higher version of you. They thought if they could just embody your energy and sprint, they could beat you there. But they didn't read the fine print that you had to be a vibrational match for what was on the other side of that finish line in order to go through it. So it doesn't matter how much they're copying, how much they're sprinting past you, or at least it may seem. That finish line, that door, that gate will only let you through if you are a vibrational match to your higher self, which they cannot be. So it doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter what they're saying. It doesn't matter what they're sending you. As long as you stay authentic to the vibration of the essence of who you are, you will get to that gate and you will go through it. And you will step into what was always meant for you, because they can't take it and they can't stop you. So you've been making progress on something, taking steps forward, but it almost feels like you're taking baby steps through quicksand, even though you're sprinting. It feels like you're sprinting. You're about to get, you know how like when they walk on the moon, they have like a, whoop, they like leap and hop. You're about to do one of those. You're about to, it's like you pull yourself up out of the quicksand, you pull yourself up out of the quicksand, and this is you making progress in like a leap forward. It's not that you're necessarily sprinting, but it's that you're being released from the pressure of what was previously holding you back. Lack of self-love, but this is something that you've been stepping into for a while, an increased self-love, but now you have this solid foundation so that when you jump forward, you're not just landing back in quicksand. You've created something for yourself to step into. It's like you've become a team with your spirit team. It's not necessarily them just guiding you, it's you working as a team with your spirit team to heal. And now it's almost time to leave the nest. And that's what this is. It's like that leap forward is kind of them pushing you out of the nest, so to speak, saying that you're ready for more because you've created that solid foundation, and now you have this new beginning coming to you because you were able to ground yourself in knowing that what you put out is what you get back, and you always knew that, but you're starting to see proof of that, and that's helping you not want to block your light out. You're taking a different path here, whereas before you were protecting yourself, you were protecting your light. Now you know that you can turn up the brightness a little bit, and because you're working so closely with your spirit team, you trust them to protect you, and now you're going on this adventure on to the next chapter. It's almost like you've created this portal that you're stepping through because of the foundation that you've built, which allows you to, it's almost like before there was a one-way walkie-talkie and you would kind of say something to your spirit team and then you'd have to kind of wait to get an answer. Now it's instant. Now it's like you understand the assignment and you're acing it. This is for you if you feel like the spiritual warfare against you this year has been non-stop, very aggressive, and almost to the point of like, do they want it to be obvious? Because it is. The message I'm getting is that you were not supposed to still be standing by the end of this year. This was supposed to be the year that, because of all the previous years that wore you down, this was supposed to be the year that you got knocked down and could not get back up. But you did. Time and time again, you did. By the end of this year, specifically by Christmas time, it's almost like the Christmas present of those who were trying to stop you. Christmas was almost like supposed to be a celebration of stopping you, and then going into the new year with you no longer being a threat to those who are threatened by your light. But it didn't work. And because they dumped out all of their time, effort, and energy into amping it up so much that you would definitely be stopped by Christmas, going into this new year, it's gonna feel like a break. Because it's like they've spent all of their spell money, they've spent all of their energy, and when that clock strikes midnight on the 31st, and their plans officially have not worked, it goes back. It doesn't go back all at once, but how it was spread out throughout this year for you, it hits them but harder. Because they swore on everything that you would not be able to get back up by the end of the year. And you're still in like a solid jog. You're not sprinting, but you're not on the ground where you were supposed to be. You have a break coming. The pressure, almost like you've been in this room and all the walls are made out of balloons and they've all been blowing up, smushing you in the middle of the room. And when that ball drops on New Year's Eve, all those balloons get popped. And all the energy that didn't stop you goes back to who tried to stop you. And you finally get a much needed pressure relief. So just hang on a little bit longer. Something that you feel like you were very good at or you really enjoyed, but it kind of got put to the side because either stress or just needing more time or needing to focus on other things, it's coming back to you. So either if it's a skill that you kind of regressed in, it's going to start to pop back up. Divine authority here, you're divinely supported. This is part of your soul mission, and that's why it's coming back when it is. You're taking your power back, you're taking your authority back here. It's going to either come back to you if it's something that has regressed, or if it's something that you don't have time for. It's like you're going to start to have the time, or the opportunities are going to present coming kind of quickly here. We have King of Swords and Knight of Swords. So you're going from this Knight of Swords constantly having to like chase after your ride. It's like you need it before to be presented with the motorcycle so that you can make progress. And now you're like, I don't need the motorcycle. I can draw into myself anything I need to make this happen because it's part of my soul mission here. What do we need to know about this coming in for you? It's a wish fulfillment. Because you balanced yourself, because you nurtured yourself, because you healed and focused on what needed to be healing, and because you are letting go of the control over the outcome. It's like you know what you want to achieve based off of how you want it to feel, or based off of how you want your life to look. And you're okay with that not playing step by step of what you previously had planned. You're able to go with the flow. All about transitioning into calmer waters and literally a boat on the ocean. You're able to go with the flow now because you've created that internally for yourself, the ability to go with the flow. So now that's projecting externally as the flow, moving you into the position that you need to be in to make this specific skill or talent take you to the level you want it to take you to. We have the Magician here. So you're transmuting pain into purpose. You're transmuting those previous blockages. You didn't just stay defeated. You wound yourself up. You wound up the energy, and now you're getting prepared to use it. So it was spinning in place and generating energy and force, and now you're going to start to sail forward in using this gift, talent, or ability. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but imagine that you dug this really deep hole and you put this little seed in there, because this seed was kind of this like ticking time bomb. This seed was eventually going to sprout no matter what you did. So you dug a really deep hole and you put it all the way down there and put a whole lot of dirt on top of it so that this seed would never be able to sprout through the top of the ground. You are the seed. You have outgrown the lid they put on you and broken through the surface. If you're wondering why they don't like you so much, that is why. You were never supposed to sprout, and you became a whole, strong tree. You are the epitome of the quote, "You threw dirt on my name and flowers grew." I'd be mad too. They're mad. Let them be mad. Looking into what's coming in between now and the end of the year for you. We have Seven of Wands reversed, King of Swords reversed. So you're taking your power back here, seeing things from a different perspective. It's almost like, see how the trees are on the card? You're climbing up to a higher point in the tree so you can see how to get back on your throne. What's bringing this perspective shift? Independence and stepping away from the group that went against you. We have Three of Cups in reverse with Seven of Swords. So this is a group of people who weren't really for you and were trying to slow you down, sabotage you, delay your blessings. But you stepped away with this Two of Cups energy. And that's what's allowing you to see things from a higher perspective. Before, you were in this constant battle, but there's no more waiting around. It's time for things to start moving forward for you. You know that quote, and it says, sometimes God's no is a not with them around. That's what this energy is. It was, you couldn't have certain blessings with certain people around, and that's what was making you stuck before. It wasn't you, but you're stepping into freeing yourself from that situation. You're taking flight is what I'm hearing. You're beginning to accelerate and take flight. And you're not there yet, but you've taken a step back from the heavy burdens that you were previously carrying, and your good karma is coming in. It's beginning to trickle in before the end of the year. There's someone who tried to bait you into some kind of trap, and essentially the evening out of that was that they were baited into trying to get into your energy at this time, simply so your angels, guides, ancestors could see, witness that they were unable to. Almost like you changed the locks or you changed the passcode, so to speak. And this was because you have a download coming in that this person can't be in your energy for. And it was like they kind of knew it was coming eventually, but didn't know when, but circumstances present it so that this person felt called to spend some of their karmic money to try and break into your energy field. And it didn't work. And now that it didn't work, you have this download coming in for you. Yeah, death and rebirth, 5 of Cups in reverse. It's going to be the catalyst for your rebirth, because it's helping you heal an emotional wound that you were having trouble changing perspective on. But final judgment is here. Ascension. You're rising up here. You're putting in a lot more pieces of your ascension body here. And it has a lot to do with your third eye. It's like a corner of your mind was blocked by this person's energy, and it was causing almost like a reflection in your third eye, so that some things may still seem like they didn't all the way fit in or didn't all the way make sense. But the havoc that this person was wreaking on your third eye is now done. This person wanted you feeling defeated. They wanted you feeling energetically depleted. But it doesn't matter if this door is locked or unlocked, because the key is right there. And if you kept your head down, you never would have known that. You could have just assumed this was locked and I could never get out. But you picked your head back up. And when you picked your head back up, it triggered this domino effect of baiting, I guess you'd say, this person to try and get into your energy so that they could not. This person doesn't want to see you loving yourself. They don't want to see you evolving. They don't want to see you becoming the butterfly. But it doesn't matter, because your victory's here and they can't stop it. You either just made it out of a trap that was supposed to be like a spiritual downward spiral, or you're about to. But it's one of these things where you don't recognize the dynamic of the trap and how it's a trap until you are on the other side looking back at it in retrospect. And it has a lot to do with your divine protection that is giving you the right information, fast communication. So your guides, angels, ancestors, telling you what you need to know in the nick of time, or just like pushing you away just in the nick of time. Because someone wants just you to be trapped in something that you can't get out of. It has something to do with what you are being pressured to say or tempted to be forced into saying, or reacting or overreacting in a way that could make you look crazy. But it's not going to work. And this is basically, I guess you could say, like your guides showing you your divine protection, even when it feels like it's a situation that should be beyond your control. You swim. You don't sink, you swim. And they're not going to be very happy that they didn't get you in this trap. So it's almost like there's, you know, when you're close to a magnet and there's like that pushback before it clacks in. This is that pushback to try and prevent you from getting that next wish fulfillment or that next level up. I shuffled and this came out again with justice behind it. So they might be big mad, but it doesn't matter. And it's weird. It's like there was a desire to separate you from something that's already in motion by putting some kind of cog in the wheel in your forward progress. 5 and 5, leaving you feeling defeated, down, emotionally, just like emotionally beat up because of repercussions that would have came from some kind of trap. But you already have the tools that you need that are being like put in your hand by your spirit team at the exact right time. At the exact right time to call in that wish fulfillment, to call in the next version of you, like to solidify the next version of you that's, you already worked on it and you just need to call it in now. There's a feeling of needing to reparent yourself from like the energies of what the masculine should have done in your life. So safety, stability, security. You may not have had that, or you may just be at odds with the person that was supposed to provide that for you, and you figured out the way to give that to yourself. And that's what this is. You reparent it yourself to not overreact in a situation that could put you into a trap. You got clarity on your transformation. You got clarity on your strength. And this is just all coming into you now to prove what you already know to be true. I want you to really think about something for a minute. Think about now what you know looking back. How long before you were aware of it that they were coming for you, that they had a plan to stop you. They had a plan to stop you from finding out who you were. So this plan had to have begun before you figured out what was going on. So if they could not stop you when you didn't even know that you were in this battle, what makes you think that they have any ability to stop you now? They don't. Every time you got another piece of the puzzle, they lost power. That's why they try to put on the big, bold spiritual buffness of trying to intimidate you and trying to make big, bold moves in the 3D to try and make you feel like you're trapped, because the only one who can stop you is yourself. And they've already proven that. And they could not get you to bend the knee to stop yourself, even when you had no idea what was going on and why all these attacks were coming. Even before you even knew about spiritual warfare and what it really could look like. They had a whole army going against you and could not stop you. Even now that they feel like they have you blindfolded, they feel like they have your hands tied behind your back, and maybe for some of you they do. But they still, even in that stance, can't stop you. Because that blindfold, those hands tied behind your back, that's only 3D. They can't force that in the spiritual. They may be able to manipulate your 3D reality to make you feel like you're bound and tied. Because in the spiritual realm, you have that divine authority that says, you can't touch me. And nothing makes them madder than knowing that they gave every ounce of their energy into a hopeless cause. Because you might not have known about your divine protection back then, but it was still in effect. Because did they stop you? No. Can they? No. And they know that now. You've been waiting on some kind of sign to confirm something specific. And you're getting a major piece of the puzzle this week that's going to inspire change when it comes to your emotional state. You're learning the truth about something that you previously were in the dark about, and that was keeping you from being able to commit fully to your path. It's like you could see 80% of the room, but about 20% was still dark, and something's coming to shine the light so that you can fully see what you were up against, that you defeated, what was keeping you from abundance or wish fulfillment here. And this puzzle piece that you're getting, it may come in your sleep, but if it does come in your sleep, you'll remember enough when you awake to make it make sense. So I would say have something by your bed so you can jot some notes down when you do wake up. But it could also come through something that someone else says to you. This card is all about community. So we're looking for either a puzzle piece to be handed to you from Dream You, or a puzzle piece to be handed to you from someone in your soul tribe, or someone that maybe isn't even in your soul tribe but says something that makes something else click for you. But it's going to be a big deal because it's going to help you start to feel like yourself again in areas that you didn't before. This is the guy that was keeping you from feeling like yourself, that was keeping you feeling small, hidden, or wanting to hide. But he's in reverse. So 'tis the season of you taking back your power from what previously had the wool over your eyes. And this is a major puzzle piece. And it's like, once you get this piece down, you look at the rest of the pieces on the board and you're like, oh, this goes here, this goes here. It starts to become more fluid for you to move forward from what previously had you bound. He lost and you won. This reading is for you if you know you have a money wound that you've been either focused on or trying to release yourself from, but you keep being met with delay after delay after delay. It's almost like you make a progress or make a step forward, either literally in attracting money or in your money mindset, but then it's like you get stuck in this loop where you pull yourself backwards. We have Justice in reverse and Five of Wands coming out together. So there's this battle in your psyche when it comes to feeling like you're worthy, feeling like you deserve it. There's, with the Knight of Swords in reverse, a lack of like being your own cheerleader, like pumping yourself up, building yourself up, reminding yourself that you're worthy, you're deserving, and you're capable. We have the Hierophant here. So there's a need to climb these stairs and know that you match this light up here. It's like you're sitting down here at the bottom of the steps, and this is like the level of where your money wound's at. The steps are there. There's no gate. There's nothing blocking you. And you need to know that you match at a vibrational essence this white light up here. Because if you do, boom, you belong and it's yours. You just have to remember that you match that same vibration. There's a feeling of money wound being wrapped in with some kind of third eye blockage or stagnancy. So because you're not able to visualize each of the steps, or because you don't really understand or know the how is not for you to be in control of. This is about releasing the how and just knowing what you want, knowing what you deserve, and taking action steps towards that. But you're stuck in your head, and there's some kind of dis-ease when it comes to, almost like it would be helpful for you to listen to some kind of positive abundance affirmations before sleep, like immediately before sleep, or even throughout sleeping. Like they have those 8-hour long hypnosis meditation type videos on YouTube. It would be helpful for you to start to reprogram your psyche by listening to them, specifically either right before bed or while you're sleeping. That's how you kind of reprogram what it is that's causing you to subconsciously self-sabotage. The Tower's in reverse here, so you've experienced some kind of loss, and that solidified that money wound. And now it's about going back in and reprogramming that for yourself. There's also a feeling of lack of support and kind of being on your own, and maybe not having the appropriate tools from when you were raised, or from how you were raised, or from who raised you. They may have given you tools that worked for them, mindset-wise, but we live in a whole different world now. It's a lot different. There's a lot more opportunity to make money, and there's also a very big gap between the wealthy and those struggling. So it's about reparenting the way that you view the money mindset here, so you can put down the heavy burden and take a leap of faith on yourself. We have the Victory here. We have the victory. We have an opportunity to find a better path. We have an opportunity to switch things in your favor, but it all goes down to that mindset. The Magician's here, so you're able to transmute that pain into purpose. You're able to magically create a path forward for yourself. Remember how I said you don't need to know the how. You don't need to have control over it. You just have to set those intentions and take steps forward towards that direction. You don't have to know each step 1 through 10. All you have to know is the next step, and then the other step will be revealed to you. That's this combination. It's releasing control of the how and having faith that you, again, vibrationally match. It's like once you believe you vibrationally match this white light, you just are transported up there. You don't even have to walk the steps. It is all unveiled for you, but you just believe, and it's like that mindset shift is what reminds you of your power to be the magician and create a path forward for yourself and not be stuck. And it's something to do with using your talents, your passion, your purpose, but it's tied in with needing to believe in yourself. And we have another card about passion. We have the Knight and the King, both of Wands, when it comes to stepping into your creativity. And that doesn't necessarily need to be like art, music creativity. Finding a creative way to remind yourself of your worth, of your potential, of what you deserve. You have the foundation. You've built this foundation for yourself. See how she's clutching a bag of money? There's a need to restore your faith in the fact that your path is not punishing you, it's teaching you. And that's kind of what is blocking that money mindset from being able to shift here and needing to kind of let go of the past. The past doesn't need to repeat itself in the future so long as you learned those lessons about self-worth, about what you deserve, about the fact that you can call in the right support for you, and you can either find or create or learn how to use the right tools. There are more options than you're giving yourself credit for, and all you have to do is remember your power. See how she's facing her and she's facing her? Grounding, stability. That's the green background. Your heart is in the right place for why you want to call in money. You want ease of life. You want to help others. You want to spend more time with those you care about. Your heart is in the right place to call in the money. Now you just have to take steps forward towards that abundance while reaching up, knowing that you are worthy and deserving. See how she's reaching right up to that light? You're worthy and deserving of what you are desiring. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but they're starting to see. Before, when you were hiding yourself to protect yourself, to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself in this bubble because the world just felt so unreceiving to your energy. Before, they could convince themselves that you were the one that was dark because you were keeping yourself not in the dark, but shielded. But you have been shining more, showing yourself more on the surface. And now they're seeing who you are. And that is someone who reflects back to them who they are. And they're now undeniably starting to see that what they saw in you wasn't you. It was a projection of the unhealed darkness in themselves that they refused to see, and God was using you to show them. And now that you are no longer hiding yourself, it's undeniable to them that they judged you so harshly because they were seeing back a reflection of the parts of themselves that they refused to look at and heal. And now that they see you in your light, they can no longer project that darkness onto you and have it be believable. Because when you were hidden, they could throw it at you and it would stick to the bubble that you were surrounding yourself with to protect you. And while it was never you, they were able to convince themselves and others that that darkness was coming from you because it was on your bubble, even though they threw it there. Not anymore. The bubble has broken open and there's nothing but light inside. And gone are the days when they are able to convince anyone, including themselves, that that was coming from you. It was a projection of what they so desperately wanted to ignore about what was going on inside themselves. And now they have to face it because you're no longer their punching bag. Channeled message. They thought they broke you because they clipped your wings. Little did they know at the time that those wings had the ability to turn into bigger wings when sliced open. Little did they know that you had the ability to grow that back from nothing. Little did they know that by clipping your wings, they were giving you the ability to go through the process of what it takes to regrow them. And that is a strength that once you see you have it, once you witness for yourself your ability to regrow those wings, there's no way they can stop you. There's no way that they can get you to unremember that. That is a rebirth that stays with you because you picked yourself up from the literal pits of being broken open. You regrew what they took from you, and you taught yourself to fly. They can't take that from you. There's a person from your past, and the ending of this connection was not pleasant or not giving you the answers. So either this was rejection, either this was lack of closure, something along those lines. But there was a big lesson here in self-worth. Knowing what you're unwilling to settle for and either walking away or letting that person walk away if they are unable or unwilling to provide what you know you deserve. You passed the test. It wasn't easy for you, but you passed the test. And it wasn't easy for you because you wanted to know and understand the why. And the why isn't that you did anything wrong. The why is that God removed this person out of your way. It may look like they walked away from you or they didn't choose you, but God was choosing something for you that that person could not align with on a vibrational essence. And because of their connection to you, you would not have been a vibrational match for what you are calling in as a manifestation. And what you're calling in as a manifestation matters to the world beyond just yourself. It's something big. It's something that is meant to be yours. So this wasn't rejection, even if it looks like it. This was redirection from your higher power so that you could call in something that you could not call in with this person's energy infiltrating your energy. You would be carrying too much of their trauma that they refused to heal. And you were their wake-up call. They were supposed to look at you and say, oh, maybe I'll try and heal this. If they would have done that, maybe they could have gone further on the path with you. But they had that opportunity and they chose to run from it and not face it. And that showed God everything he needed to see that this person was not ready for the path that was opening up for you. Within the next week, you're going to get some kind of clear as day sign, message, or confirmation that this person was removed from your path so that that door that you wanted to open so bad could open up for you. Because inside that door that opens, you didn't know this, but it's like one of those Russian dolls where you pull the doll out of the doll, out of the doll. There's a door behind the door. And you need it to have certain lessons in self-worth so that when you walk through that first door, you know that you're worthy to walk through the second one too. Because what you're calling in, this manifestation, is so much bigger than what you originally thought it was going to be. You needed the lessons in patience and the lessons in self-worth to traverse through the final chapter of it. But once you get there, it'll make sense. It'll make sense to why you had to wait, and it'll make sense as to why certain people couldn't come with you. It requires that hard shadow work. And when you get through that second door, you're going to be able to look back and see very clearly that while you chose to face the shadow, those who couldn't come with you had the same opportunity, but chose to project the shadow, project their pain onto others so that they didn't have to face it. And the room that you're walking into is pure light so that you can take that light and bring it out into the world. Darkness just couldn't come. It may feel like you weren't chosen, but that's because someone with a lot more power was choosing you the whole time. There is a long-awaited communication that's coming to you. Something that you've been waiting for some time. It's the confirmation that you successfully reparented part of yourself that needed attention and healing. It's like this incoming communication is your reward for doing that. It's going to make you feel less alone. It's going to make you feel seen or heard from a higher perspective. This is the beginning of justice coming in. This is you recognizing that you're not alone in something, and that what was blocking you before, what was keeping you in a state of self-doubt, was a need to reparent part of your psyche that had been dulled down, I guess you could say, or like kept in the background. The incoming communication is going to inspire passion, and it's not necessarily a romantic, it doesn't feel romantic at all. It feels, like some kind of explanation or confirmation of a previous betrayal. It's like something someone directly or indirectly says to you confirms that you were right about something that you were questioning yourself about, but because you reparented yourself and have a higher perspective, you're now being given an opportunity to get out of your head, put down the heavy burden, and choose to use the reparenting skills that you gave to yourself when it comes to processing the emotions that will arise from this particular communication. But it's not coming in the way that you would think it's coming. There's a shift in your ability to almost translate signs, symbols, and synchronicities and messages from your spirit team that are given to you through people that maybe aren't doing it in a direct way, but are answering long-standing questions that you had in your mind when it comes to what you overcame, what was previously keeping you bound, what was holding you back. there's incoming communication that is going to prove or confirm to you that you dismantled a certain shadow wound that required you to reparent yourself in order to see it from the right perspective. This is your gift from yourself. It's what, imagine that your light is on a dimmer. It's what turns it all the way back up. Not that it's as dim as it was before, because you're no longer hiding yourself in most senses in that way, but this is almost like you pull the dimmer straight off. It gets even brighter than it could have before because the light is coming from within. You alleviated the fogginess that was blocking your light from coming from within because you reparented part of your inner child that everyone else had ignored or pushed to the side. And now you have proof that you've done that coming in through some higher level communication from your spirit team, that they use someone else as the funnel to get you that information. There's a certain idea that you've had that has been taking a little bit of time to come to fruition, and you're gonna start making progress in this in the first few months of next year. You're in a lull right now. Things aren't really turning on this particular project because there's a need to alleviate certain stressors or certain worry that are working out the kinks through time. It's like you're learning how to be in a state of receiving, because although this project or idea is something that you're doing, something that you're putting out, it requires you to be in the state of receiving because of what comes to you from you putting out this energy. There is a little bit of self-sabotage here because of things not going in the timing that you thought they were going to go in. The self-sabotage is something in terms of your mindset that just needs to be rebalanced here. But you have this 10 of Pentacles coming from this idea. So you have, it feels like lasting relief, where it was previously like a little relief and then boom, smack back down to the ground. A little relief and then boom, smack back down. This is like relief that lasts and doesn't just drop you back down into a lower state. But there's something about the idea that still needs to be rebalanced. It's like the egg is still being fertilized here. Although it feels like you've had a rebirth since you started investing time and energy into this idea, the idea also needs to go through a rebirth to match your rebirth. And that's what's happening, that's causing what you view as a delay. But it's not a delay, it's more just like a lull when it comes to forcing you to take time to be patient, even though you know that you've already earned forward progress. It's showing your emotional intelligence, how you handle the period that you don't understand, but know that it's necessary in order to move forward. It's how are you going to still treat the idea when the idea doesn't unfold in the exact way in which you planned it to unfold, because the idea is unfolding in a different way that's bigger than what you, it's like you plant a seed and you don't realize that that seed is actually one of those like giant beanstalk trees, like that you can climb up to the entire next level instead of needing to take the stairs. It's like you take this straight up ladder instead of these elongated stairs. But that's what needs to happen with this seed. The seed is birthing from a regular seed, rebirthing into that giant beanstalk. So it's becoming more than what you intended it to be, but its rebirth needs to match your rebirth. And it's going there, and it's going to be groundbreaking. Like, this idea is going from being a seed that plants and comes through the grass, it's upgrading into being groundbreaking. Like, it doesn't matter if there's grass or cement there, it's going to break through and it's going to cause a lot of awakening or a lot of clarity. It's like you're helping people's mindsets with this idea in a way that you might not all the way understand yet, But that's where it's going. That's the joy it's bringing. That's the freedom it's bringing. It's bringing freedom of mind to more than just yourself. And that's why, because you are doing this with good intention, because your heart is in the right place, you had to be tested with patience and not giving up on the idea when it's taking a different amount of time than you anticipated it taking. You not giving up on the idea is what allowed spirit to be like, okay, let's give them a giant beanstalk instead of just a little flower, because this person knows that this, whatever it is that you're trying to birth into the world, is bigger than just you. So because you allowed yourself to not give up and you fell into being patient instead, your seed in and of itself is getting a rebirth, and it's going to end up much bigger than what you anticipated. But it's not going to start moving forward until the first few months of next year. But you've already earned it. You just need to earn the ability to maintain it long term, and that's what this test of patience was. That's what this test of patience was, and that's what was keeping it from manifesting, was the test of patience, which can only really unfold when you give it time. And you've done that. So you will start moving forward. Think of a number 1 through 3. If you're thinking 3, this message is for you. There's someone from your past that wanted really hard to paint you in a really bad light. And something that they have been saying about you is starting to unravel because of something that you spoke on indirectly. You didn't address the situation directly, but something that you said is allowing the people that were on the outside looking in to begin to see that someone else was trying to change your truth, or change the truth of who you are, paint a different picture because you weren't around to defend against what was being painted. And something you said recently has caused their whole house of cards to crumble. And this person is trying to have a conversation with you so they can screenshot or record it, so they can show other people and say, look, I'm not mean to this person. I care for this person. So if they reach out to you and all of a sudden they're nice, it's because they're literally trying to get out of people seeing their true colors of not being so nice. So I'm laughing, and you'll see why in a second, but I started trying to record this, and there was a super loud airplane that kept just like reverberating its sound towards me very loudly, so I couldn't record. And it's funny because the message is, there's a song by the band Trapped, and it's Ready When You Are. And I was getting ready to record a channeled message about someone coming in that you have been calling in, manifesting in. And that was the song that started playing in my mind. And the line is, calm down, don't take it too far. I know only time can heal the scars, so I'm ready when you are. There's something major that you recently made big strides in healing. This was a very conscious decision to face a shadow wound head on. It's one that the darkness was hoping you would run from, and you embraced it instead. It was a buildup of this particular shadow wound. So then when it was time to face it, it would overwhelm you, or it would overcome you, and it didn't. You might not have even looked at it as that big of a deal that it was supposed to be the end all be all, because you've healed so much more than you're giving yourself credit for. And you have someone that's coming in to help you, and that can be in any sense of the word. That can be help heal your heart. That can be help heal your wallet. It's whatever you have been focusing on, specifically calling in, and it's because of what you want to do with the relief. If it's money, then it's not because of the money. If it's a relationship, it's not because of the relationship. It's because of what peace of mind it's going to give you to have the support that you were previously lacking, because you are meant to be doing something much grander or bigger than what you're doing right now. And you're having something come in that's going to be gas in the tank for you so that you can move forward with, almost feels like telling your story, but not in a direct way. It's like telling your story through your actions, through your choices. But you're going to have the opportunity to do that in a more big and bold way so that it's clear as day what you're doing is showing the world who you are and what you came here to do. You're leveling up because you've earned it. Think of a number 1 through 3. If you're thinking 2, this is for you. You have a opening in your dream that's coming to you in the next 3 sleeps. Like a dream portal. And it feels like this may become a lucid dream, even if it doesn't start as that. And it's so that you can go through this specific dream portal and grab a piece of information from it, from another version of yourself, either in another lifetime or what have you, and bring it back with you into the 3D. Not like a physical thing, but like the knowledge that you attain, almost like you walk into a room and there's writing on all the walls. And as I'm saying this, I feel like those that this message is for, you've had a dream like this before, where you may not be able to fully consciously remember, but now that I'm saying it, it feels familiar. You walk into this room and there's all writing on all of the walls, like all over the place, just like someone wrote a storybook on the walls in Sharpie. And you didn't understand or understand it this last time the dream came around, but you recall it. And this time when you go back in this room, it's like you read the walls and you remember it when you wake. You remember what you might not be able to say, oh, I read these 20 words, but you know the message that the words were trying to give you specifically. What is the portal that you're going through here? The Holy Grail. You're getting the key to your abundance, the key to your life path purpose. Inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. You are what you seek. It's all within. It's all within you, and you're going to find it, and you're going to bring it out, and you're going to use it like a magical golden key. Holy Grail. Good job. You're wondering why they still refuse to see this version of you, why they're so stuck on bringing up your past or seeing you from that past perspective. I'll tell you why. They need to gossip about the old you, because if not, they would have to admit what God did with your story, what He created from your trials and tribulations. Because for them to admit that would make them have to look at themselves and see, why don't I have these wins from God now? Where are mine? Because they refuse to face what you chose to embrace. They pretended not to see you, hoping that it would dim your light. You learned how to make fire and relit it every time it went out. And then they got mad when God turned this into the superpower of invisibility. Now you disappear from any situation sent to trap you. Poof. No longer an issue. They had nothing really to say to you, at least nothing true or of importance, and they really liked to bring you down, especially when you weren't there to defend yourself. God said, okay, bet. Talk to me then. Boom, telepathy, channeling. Everything that they tried to keep from you, you just got access to the higher version of it. They thought they were so sneaky, keeping things behind your back, thinking that you'd never find out. God said, okay, boom, X-ray vision. You can now see through people's intentions so that you can protect yourself. They might not believe that you can see it, but you can. And you know that because it's been proven now. Because you've been right so many times, and they are so mad. So mad about that. They tried to trap you, put you in a box so that they felt like you wouldn't dim their shine by outshining them. God said, okay, boom, telekinesis. You can move external situations around with your mind. You create your reality. You can project externally what you want to see as long as you create that environment internally. And you've done that, and you're continuing to do that. You might not be where you want to go, but you're not where you used to be. And at one point you thought you'd be trapped there forever. You're not. God hid you in plain sight. Your soul signed up to be what was going to show these people their own true colors. Because with all the darkness in the world, it's so easy to not have to take accountability for the darkness when darkness is all that's reflected back to you. That's why they wanted so bad to make you darkness. Because it would prevent you from being the clear reflection of light that you are. And that's proven now, because everything sent to break you just unlocked the higher version of that skill in your mind. And they can't undo that. And now they know you see them. And now they know that God sees them because they see the work that He did in your life because you chose to not give up. They tried to knock you down so hard that you'd never be able to get up. And God set the stage so they all have to watch you fly. There's a quote that says, some people will never support you until it's cool to support you, until the crowd is supporting you. The people who went against you swore, they bet every last dime thinking that it would never be cool to support you. They feel defeated now watching strangers see the potential that they failed to see in you. Because those that you're attracting into your life now, you are mirroring back who they are to themselves, and that's a good thing. Because you're attracting healed individuals or healing individuals into your life. What does that say about those who refused to see the good in you? That wasn't you that they were seeing. You were reflecting their own energy back to them, and they didn't like it. And now they're seeing that it was not you that was the problem. It was themselves.